Hi, this is Praios and I'm a professional gambler. Today we will again look into a video of Phil Galfond. And he apparently liked his full house until he made it 25k. So this, I have high expectation into this, and yeah, I hope that we will see very interesting hands and can have a very good discussion going. In case we need it, I got PLO Trainer ready on the side. But I guess these are probably deep or river decisions or something, so this might not be helpful here, but yeah, in general, this is a great program, and yeah, I also got affiliate link for this and for a lot of other things that are very helpful, but let's now jump into the video, and yeah. One thing more I got to add, please consider to check out my other channel too. It has 500 subs already. It's about finance and at the moment mostly about cryptocurrency. Some very good stuff on there, so check it out if you are interested in that too. So, but without further ado, let's now get into it.
I'm down 350,000, so I go on a $630,000 downswing, and then I actually climb back out. And by the time we're here, and actually the graph is kind of like up, down, up. It's pretty. It's not too wobbly. At this point, I'm up like 100 to 150,000 going into this session. I'm having a good session. I'm up a couple of buy-ins.
This sounds like a sick game with so huge swings. How big is this? 20k, 40k, something like that?
And I get dealt king, 9-5, single suited in the big blind. I 3-bet and get called and hit a beautiful flop of king 4-3
Really
rainbow.
beautiful flop.
No backdoor flush draw for me, but that's okay. I have top set. So generally in these spots, oftentimes I'll make kind of strong strategy adjustments to my opponents, but this is not an example of that. I essentially always check top set on a board like this. I think Solver would check a decent amount of top sets, not all of them. But I like to simplify my strategy. And so on a board like this, it's pretty dry that I've got a lot of hands that, I'd like to check call, like a ton of one pair hands that I'd like to check call. These turns get pretty dicey for me and uncomfortable.
I think in spots like this, it's very easy to get greedy and put out a huge bet. That's what I would do often too, if I don't think carefully about everything.
When they're a turn low card or pairs the board, for example. So I like putting king in my check call range just 100% of the time. And it's important to, with like king 4, with 4-4, with 3-3, you want to try to put some more money in. So you might want to bet 3-bet. You might want to check raise sometimes. I would never check call king 4. I would never check call 4-4 unless I had a king as well. But with king specifically, I block the hands that want to get it. Like I block.
Is Phil hey guys or is Phil Big Sui? Well, I think he always says, hey guys, this is Phil Galfond or something. So he's probably hey guys. So he check the flop.
King 4, I block king 3, block king X, which is going to call and turn 2 pair and put in a lot of money. So king just goes into my check call range. Chance was very.
Oh, that's not. I think I need to make some adjustments. As we can't see Phil send completely. Whoop, whoop, whoop. No, that's not. Although I could also just do this. Although then I have no chat. Okay, he's hey guys, this is now confirmed. Okay, where is it? We could. Oh, man, seems to be impossible to grab the right thing I wanted to make. Always grab the other. Whatever. It's. I think might have to give up. So can I now grab this, please? Yeah, I can. So. Oh, I think we did it. Maybe. Let's see. Have to fix the other thing too. Ka-ching! This looks good now. Okay. can continue from here on.
Tricky, and he used a lot of sizings in these spots. So in this case, he actually goes 2/3. He was mixing up his sizings throughout the match. But my plan is to check call against any sizing here with king. So I check call. Turn is the queen of hearts.
How are you doing, FG, by the way?
I check. So like, can you have a leading range here with SPR2 when the queen is pretty good for your range out of position? Yeah, but I don't think you need to. I think you can get away with just checking everything. He's still very incentivized to bet king 4, and like his flop value.
I wouldn't hate a lead too, but yeah, checking probably in the overall game plan is a better play.
Range is still incentivized to bet. Yes, we kind of give a free card to some hands, but keep in mind that we have we have 4 5 ace 4 5 6. We have queen 6 7, and or I guess in this jack 6 7 that connects on those low straight cards. So we get a free card often too. So I think checking range works pretty well here. I do decide to check my hand.
I think so too. Well played so far.
Checks back.
Yeah, that's
River 6. So generally speaking, this is a very bad card for my range. He's going to have like a lot more 5 deuce than me, more 5 7, not massively so. But when he bets flop and checks turn, he's kind of saying, especially when he bets big on the flop. So
yeah, but at least he blocks 5 7 a bit. Is he leading now? What is he doing?
When he bets big on the flop, he's saying, I have a hand that wants to get all in now, or I have a bluff. And the hands that want to get all in now are like king 4, 3 3, and like king 5 6. And for the most part, when he checks turn, he's saying, okay, well, I didn't have that part of my range. I didn't have 3 3. I didn't have king 4. Maybe I had king 5 6, but I didn't have king 4. I didn't have a set.
On check back.
So I had either a strong draw or a weak draw. That's kind of what he's telling me. Maybe he hit the queen. Maybe he was bluffing with like queen 8 7 3 or something, and now he's got weak 2 pair. So he can have hands that can call, but for the most part, I think he's got 1 pair or 0 pair on the turn. And so against that range, I don't think I want to bet this river. I have a ton of 1 pair hands that
I sort of disagree a bit. I mean, he could be scared because of the queen and my check back like king 3 or something. But yeah, he's probably right, but his range is a lot more 1 pair heavy and draw heavy. Tricky spot. So he is not leading, I think.
I want to check and be able to get to showdown. He can value bet pretty thinly here in position, especially on a river like this, where like if I check and he has queen 6, I think he can pot for value. And if he doesn't want to pot, if he has like 4 6, he can half pot, and he's not going to face many check raises because I have to be scared of the straights, etc. So I wouldn't say that I check my full range on this river, but I'm doing quite a bit of checking on this river. And I think my hand, king with a 5. So like I'm blocking his random like king. I'm blocking king 6.
Well, dentist treatment does not sound good. I wish you good luck. Hope everything goes well. And yeah, also hope that the games in Venlo are soft and that you are winning quite a lot.
5, which is actually an value bet anyways. I'm blocking king 3 if he decided to play it this way and get nitty on the turn, or king 4 for that matter. And I'm blocking king X, like let's say.
That's a good point, actually, because he is blocking king X quite heavily. Yeah, true. Yeah, I think checking is the best line. And he also explained it very well.
He had ace king 5 9. Like that's a hand that might hero call river, that might bet flop. But I'm blocking that very hard. Actually, all of my cards block that. So I like checking here, which is what I do. And he goes ahead and pots. So at this point, I mean,
against a pot size bet, I would be very scared, but I would still call. I mean, he played this hand very weakly, and his opponent cannot put him on such a strong hand. In addition to that, he's also blocking this straight. So yeah, easy call in my eyes.
He's repping straights. Sometimes I'll have 6 6. Sometimes I'll have king 5 6. Like I said, maybe he could value bet as thinly as queen 6 or like a different queens up potentially, but probably not. This is probably kings up plus. I don't think that I should be check raising here. I think while he can value bet some thinner.
I also don't necessarily think that he should check raise. I mean, he can still run into a straight, and his opponent will throw away all the bluffs, and yeah, their big size also sort of polarizes him. And yeah, so he is having nothing or something really strong, and something really strong, the way the hand played, is 5-7, unfortunately. 5-7 beats a set of kings. And yeah, so a check raise is not doing a lot, because he folds all the worst things and calls with the straight. So yeah, I wouldn't check raise either.
Hands. Most of the time he's value betting, or I don't know, half the time he's value betting something.
I think against a different sizing you can choose to check raise, but against this I would just call.
Something in that range or that neighborhood, my hand's going to be no good because of the straights. And so by the time I check raise, he can just fold most of the hands worse than mine and call with every hand better than mine. So I like just calling, despite it being a very strong holding. Now on like a river 7, gets a little bit closer because now only one straight gets there. And therefore he's going to have a straight less frequently, and he's going to potentially.
I mean, 5 deuce is not. Okay, but yeah, I mean, I guess this is heads up, so people play every hand basically. So yeah, 5 deuce is still a possibility. But even if it's like a 7, I think check raising still seems tough call.
Value bet more 2-pair hands. So on river 7, maybe I go for the check raise here with the second nuts rather than the third nuts here. In this actual hand, he had ace 4 5 9 with backdoor clubs. This is makes a ton of sense on the turn and the river. His flop play is kind of, it's aggressive, and like betting this like caliber of hand is good, but I would tend to check back with a nut flush draw, check back with like the second nut gut shot, and like this is a good hand on an ace turn, a 4 turn, which are turns I'm going to be pretty aggressive on out of position. So I think I would have checked his hand on the flop, but certainly fine to bet hands like these. And then I think he is right to bet the river. You do have to be.
Yeah, I think also that checking the flop might be a little bit better, but yeah, can't be a big mistake to bet.
A little bit careful here because you fold a decent amount of 5 deuce pre-flop. You don't bet all of your 5-7 on the flop or all of your 5 deuce on the flop. And then you get to the river with a lot of like 6-5, 4-5.
Let's see what. Is this a 3-bet pot? No, it's not a 3-bet pot. Okay. Is it a 3-bet pot? What are the limits in this game? I have no clue. He's at 220k. What were we starting with? How much? 3.5k. It's 20k they are playing. When the open would be 2000. Might be a 3-bet pot. Oops.
Like 100 to 150,000 going into this session. I'm having a good session. I'm up a couple of buy-ins. And I get dealt king 9-5 single suited in the big blind. I 3-bet and get called and hit a beautiful flop of king.
Is this 3-bet, by the way, to lose? I mean, it's heads up. The ranges are wider, but still. It seems like this hand is in a lot of trouble when 3-betting. So let's find out. King 5-9. I mean, this hand has only kings and not much else going for it. King 9-5 with 1 suit. Is this hand a 3-bet? Yes or no? Oops. By filter. Looks like it is a 3-bet if we got the king high suit, and you got a worse suit, then it's not a 3-bet. But it's close. You see 99%, so solver, it has to be on the edge. Let's see. So I was one nitty. I also didn't play it heads up much. So yeah. Phil is right, at least from the solver standpoint, to 3-bet this hand. Okay, we wanted to check what should happen on this flop too. So it's a 3-bet pot. Okay. Unfortunately, we don't have 3-bet. We don't have sims for that. So, yeah. So we can't analyze this properly. Yeah, but I think what you said
4-3 rainbow.
basically is fine.
No backdoor flush draw. I mean, he's repping straights. Sometimes he'll have 6-6. Sometimes he'll have.
I think we
king
already
fight.
heard that.
Let's look at another hand. All right, so this is a pretty interesting one.
Very thrilled.
Also from day 39
Another
against
hand.
chance. At this point, I am up 100K this session. So session's going well for me. And it looks like it's going to keep going well because I flop full house in a single raise pot. So he raises button. I call the big blind with ace 9 8 3 with an 8 high suit. Flop is ace.
What is he doing to me, man? Why aren't the cards this time on the other side? Come on! What the fuck? I made all these adjustments and now cards are on the other side. Okay, we will fix this. Or at least try to. So now we can see the cards.
9-9, it goes check, check. And I have my first couple decisions on the 10 of spades turn. So I decide to check my hand. Blocking the ace, it's kind of tough to get called down twice. And I do think chances, like, he likes.
I think I would have bet myself because I think people might fall in love with a hand like ace king or something, or ace something, and not fold right away, but try to control the size of the pot. So I think betting turns should be fine.
Well, he traps the flop a decent amount with like 9x, or he checks the right amount of 9x.
Okay, so he has is then a competent opponent, it seems.
He is checking the flop with a lot of 10-10, so I don't necessarily want to bloat the pot against that, although, I mean, I'm looking to play a big pot. But yeah, like, I mean, essentially in this spot with my hand, you just want to mix it up because you need this in kind of all of your ranges.
Mixing it up sounds
I like checking when I unblock like every draw because he's gonna, do a fair bit of betting with
good reasoning
with draws, of course, and then continue potentially bluffing river. I have a lot of like weak ace X that want to call here. I have a lot of king jack 10 that want to check call, and similar type hands. So I think this is fine to check call. It's also fine to bet. When I half pot, which is my sizing here on the turn, he's going to call with a lot of draws and then potentially have to bluff river. But somehow I kind of feel like the way this plays out better as a check call, because what happens when I bet, so let's say I bet turn and river is the offsuit 4, and then I go for a check. Like if I bet, he's got a lot of misdraws that he folds, or like king 10 jack that he folds. If I check, the problem is here, I look like a check raise, a river check raise, or air. And so if he has any kind of showdown value, like any pair, he's just going to show it down. He's just going to check. So I don't think you actually induce a lot of bets. Like, yes, he'll bluff sometimes, and yes, he'll value bet 9x, and yes, he'll value bet some ace king. But for the most part, you don't induce a ton of bluffs because a lot of bluffs just end up having showdown value. So I think this plays pretty well as check call, which is what I do. I don't like check raising this turn because, first of all,
it's hard to argue with him. I mean, often it is like, you can basically do anything, and yeah, this is all a spot where you probably want to do with his sort of hand everything. So it's hard to argue with whatever he does. Okay, he does not like a check raise. I think you can also do that sometimes. So This is basically a hand where you can do whatever you want at any point so far.
Like I'm blocking the hands that I want to call me, ace X and 9X. And I actually do run into 10-10 sometimes. Again, I'm looking to get a lot of money into this pot. I am going to be check raising rivers.
He could also run into ace-8, and he basically never has ace-8 after just calling pre-flop.
But because of the makeup of his range, if I start check raising now, I just get him to fold a lot of stuff. Whereas he can actually make some stuff on the river and then call check raise. So I do check call, river's a queen. So for example, he could make, on this river, he could make jack-8, he could make king-jack. He goes ahead and pots. And I go for the check raise.
This again feels like a polarized spot, but yeah, he's so up in his range, and yeah, he has this check raise for sure. And yeah, if he gets 3-bet, which probably will happen, just judging from the title of the video, this is very
I didn't pot it. I'm
one.
not sure. I mean, I think I just pot my hand. I'm not sure why I didn't. And he actually shoves, putting me in a very tough spot. So I mean, I know I have ace-9, which is a huge hand, but when he,
this is a very tough spot. I mean, he basically never has ace-ace, so his opponent probably also knows that Phil never has ace-ace. But it's also tough to put in a river 3-bet bluff, but I guess he's playing a very tough opponent, so he's probably able to do so. He might be doing this with an ace blocker or ace-10, ace-queen blocker, blocking all the good full houses. This is very, very tough one. Is this a pot re-raise? Yeah, I think so. So Phil needs to be good 33% of the time. I mean, against a lot of nitty opponents that I don't think are able to bluff, this actually is a fold. But against someone playing high stakes in a spot where Phil's hand does not look too great, and in addition to that, his range is sort of capped, only 9-9. I mean, he could have 9-9, but no aces, for example. I think he probably has to call. Let's see what he ends up doing.
he bet 3-bets. So when I check raise this river, I'm saying that I have a full house. And I don't think that I'm saying, I don't think I'm saying I have a straight. Like against pot, I think king-jack just calls.
Nah.
So I'm saying I have a full house. So when he jams, he's saying I can beat a full house, which means he's going to have quads or a full house.
It's not possible to beat a full house, or at least cannot have quads.
Now, it's an interesting kind of hand reading exercise because this is actually a really interesting hand. I'm glad we picked this one. Props, Thomas.
Looks like he's also like not really knowing what to do.
There's so much nuance. Yeah. So on this river,
same for me.
I lose to 10-10, I lose to queen-queen, and I lose to ace-ace. Ace-ace is going to play this way, but I block ace-ace with the ace. So, like, and ace-ace is not always going to play this way. I think he usually bets flop with ace-ace. Sometimes he checks it, and then he plays it this way the rest of the time. But usually he's bet flop. 10-10 is going to play this way up until river very frequently.
Mm.
And then, but we'll get back to.
Is 10-10 shoving though? Or is 10-10 just calling the raise? That's also a good question. Queens probably also play this way. Queens and aces, for sure.
To what it does on the river next. And then queen-queen is always going to 3-bet the river if he's gotten here this way. But what queen-queen hands are going to bet the turn? Basically, queen-queen 9, ace queen-queen, both of which I block. But he's not just going to bet the turn with queen-queen jack or, queen-queen 5-4 with spades. Those hands are just going to check. So he actually doesn't get to the river with a lot of queen queen, and the queen queen he does get to the river with, I block with my ace and my 9. He doesn't get to the river with a ton of ace ace because I think, well, first of all, I block it. Second of all, I think he bets the flop pretty often.
Sounds like he's talking himself into a laydown.
But he gets there with a little bit of it. And then there's 10-10. And so the really interesting thing about 10-10 is that when I check call turn and check raise river, I actually look a lot like queen queen. And so there's a chance that if he's sitting there with 10-10, like a pretty good chance that if he's sitting there with 10-10, he doesn't feel good about repotting it.
Yeah, that's also what I said before. But people sometimes have crazy bluffs on these stakes, so I would call, but yeah, let's see.
Because, you expect me to have some slow plays on the turn like this, but for the most part, if I have like 10-9, I'm usually betting the turn. If I have queen 9, I'm usually betting the turn, because those aren't like great traps. They're just better bets. And so actually a lot of my boats are either ace 9, like I have here, or queen queen. And I actually think it looks a lot like I have queen queen.
Maybe he's also overthinking this a bit, because he does not have the time to do it on the table probably. And his opponent also not sure if he was able to think all the things through that we did here in a 20-minute video.
So I'm not sure that he's going to bet 3-bet 10-10 in this spot very often. Yes, I guess I can have queen 9, like 4-4, like really weak 9x. But for the most part, I'm betting 9x on the turn. So when I look like queen queen, I think he actually might not 3-bet 10-10. Like I said, I don't think he has queen queen very often due to the turn play. And, ace ace, there are very few of those. So I ended up calling here. I mean, pause. Before I call, I also have to think of bluffs. So
yeah,
what is he bluffing with? And then is he sick enough to go for the bet 3-bet
ace
bluff?
10, ace queen.
And actually, that's a tougher question, because he's not going to start bluffing river with queen x. Like he's just going to show down queen x if he's bet turn and then river's the queen. So like if he has queen jack, whatever, he's checking. If he somehow has queen 10, which I don't think he's going to have very often, he's checking. 9x makes a little bit of sense. And then it's going to have to be like king, queen, jack 8. Is he?
I actually think 9x is not that great of a bet 3-bet. I mean, you could just call and maybe pick up some bluffs from Phil.
I mean, maybe like jack 9 8s, but I don't think so. So actually, this is one of those spots where you just rarely expect to see the 3-bet because there are not many value hands, but there are also not many bluffs. There's also the added element of, he's down 100,000 today, which some people end up over bluffing in spots like that, and some people end up way under bluffing, and they just like don't want to get into trouble. And I don't actually have a good feel for which of those chance was. I think when he was down, he liked to build big pots early, but I think he still played, very reasonably on the rivers. So this is a really tough spot. And the funny thing about spots like this is that sometimes, like based on your opponent and based on their mood and the way they think about the game, you could be up against like 90% bluffs, and other times you could be up against 98% value. Like they might just always have it. So like to this day, I mean, I know what happened in the hand. I don't know if I like my play or not. I used my entire time bank and called.
Yeah, this is definitely a very, very sick spot. But based on the things he said now, I think he might lose.
He actually did have king, queen, jack with spades. It doesn't really tell me too much.
What the... I didn't expect him to bluff with this hand. And then he can have a hand like this. He's probably over bluffing here.
Other than he's capable of this, props to Chance on a really, really good play, because he recognized that like he's not going to have queen x to bluff without a straight. He's not going to have queen 10. He's not going to have 10x. Like, yeah, he's not going to have 10x to bluff with. So what's he going to bet 3-bet with? If he's ever going to have bet 3-bets for value, it's got to be hands like this. for bluffs. So
not sure if he actually thought that deep about it. Maybe he was just like, fuck, my straight is not good. But Phil probably does not have the best full house, so maybe I can get him off it without any deeper thinking like Phil did.
this tells me that, my call is at least fine.
I think if he shows this hand, his call is great. Because yeah, he probably bluffs way too much.
Don't know if it's good or not because this is one of a few hands that can do this. I think actually, against your average like mid-stakes player, I think this is just a fold because I don't think they're capable of plays like this.
I think so too.
But clearly chance was, and I was fortunate to win this pot. Still, I'm not sure if I like the call or not, but happened to work out.
Yeah, the action was check, check, flop, check, call, turn, and then Phil check, raised river and got free bet. So basically all the action was delayed to the river.
And I did go on to win that challenge, kind of like the straight lineup continued. Hopefully you found that interesting. And
okay, so this is from his
yeah,
challenge
let me know what you thought of this type of review. I love PLO hands. I love challenge hands. So happy to do more of them.
Yeah, I like this format. It was quite interesting. Unfortunately, we couldn't use PLO Trainer much in this one. But yeah, I liked the thing. By the way, is his hand strong enough to get in there on the pre-flop? I mean, that's a weak one, but is it good enough? I mean, that's has to be on the edge, right? Okay. Let's figure this out before we end the video. What do you say, chat? Is this an open or not? Ace, 8, 3, 9. Not an open. Is this a defend or not? Uh-oh. He has... No, looks like I'm right this time. This is not strong enough to defend. And how much are we losing if we defend this? Okay, we lose 0.01 BB. So yeah, this is very marginal as expected. But yeah, looks like holding is a little bit better. Yeah. You're already at the end. Also made a video in German. So I think at least one of you guys is German, and I think one of you can understand it quite well. So consider to check this out too. Are you? Yeah, I'm not sure if they play rake free in the challenge. They might. Yeah, okay, right. It might be an easy defend without rake because we had the PLO 500 rake structure. Yeah, you're correct. If that's true. I mean, it's also even if not rake free, the rake compared to the stakes is extremely low. I mean, if it's like $2 or $5, it's basically like no rake anyways. Yeah, but yeah, thanks for the comment. That's actually true, and yeah, well done. Yeah, going offline now. Thanks for watching. Until next time, bye bye.